All right, one of the neat things, I'm here in Greece, and I've had now several people that have sort of come up to me that recognize me from what I'm doing online, and have said that, particularly the videos, these YouTube videos have been particularly effective at helping them understand things to regain and recapture their health. And one of them said, I like the way you have these simple, sort of straightforward explanations, very helpful. And so I thought I'd take a moment just to kind of, a little bit of an overview of what I think is important with regard to health, nutrition, and so on and so forth. I think, keeping it in simple terms, and there's always exceptions. I don't like to make absolutes and generalities, but I think in my view, fairly certainly, this sort of overconsumption of processed food is what's driving much of the diseases. All this modern food, the packaged, shelf-stable garbage, which is often replete with refined grains, industrial oils, sugary products, and that's making up, in some places, the majority of the diet in the United States. It's something like 70% now. And I think getting off that is very, very challenging, not only because, one, it tastes good, two, it's cheap, three, it is pushed and marketed, and everybody around you is doing it, and they're always on the, oh, why not? One little thing won't hurt you. You deserve a treat. Come on, don't be so hard on yourself type of stuff. And at the same time, what does it do to you? It wrecks you metabolically and health-wise, makes you depressed, makes you obese, makes you hurt, makes you in pain, makes your gut have problems. And so getting rid of that stuff is clear, cutting out grains, cutting out sugars, cutting out some of these oils. But the problem is, how do you do that? Because like I said, for all the aforementioned factors. And so that's why I've often, like for those people that can just cut out the processed food and eat, whole rest of the food's fine. And I think one of the keto problems, a lot of people are making these keto desserts and keto treats and trying to mimic this stuff. And I think that's problematic for many people. It's just kind of reinforcing those bad habits. And I think what I tell people is, regardless of if they have to lose weight or gain weight in many cases, don't worry about that initially. I think the first thing is changing your relationship with food. That is the primary goal. And if you're eating for non-nutritive reasons, hedonic reasons, stress reasons, comfort reasons, boredom reasons, on and on and on, then that's a real problem. You need to address it. Until you fully address that, you're probably never going to, truly achieve the health that you should be able to achieve and deserve to achieve, in my view. And so it starts with, in some cases, complete abstinence. And this is why a carnivore diet has been so incredibly powerful. And then how do you implement that? Well, if you read my book, I talk about eating meat like it's your job. And it's, meat and eggs and seafood. And if you tolerate some dairy, perhaps dairy. A lot of people have struggles with dairy. I'll have to say that. But, if you eat those things and you make that the focus priority of your diet, making sure first thing on your plate, you fill up on that stuff. And then if you got room for a vegetable or a little bit of, low sugar fruit, then perhaps it's okay. But for many people, even stricter than that, just meat, salt, and water, so-called. Some people call it the lion diet. I call it an autoimmune carnivore diet in my book. But that is something you need to do, and you need to eat until you are fully satisfied and full, and you don't want anything else, and it keeps you satisfied for a while. And that process may take several months to get there. A lot of people say, well, I ate a bunch of steak and I'm still hungry. What do I do? Well, my answer to that is eat some more steak or eggs or something like that until that goes away. And that process takes, a few weeks to a few months. And then once you get there, then it's time to reevaluate, see where you're at. Maybe you've lost weight, maybe you've gained weight. It doesn't really matter at that point. But, this is kind of the litmus test. You can take whatever your favorite garbage food is, and you can be hungry, and it can be in the room with you. And you can say, I'm good. I can wait. That is a litmus test as far as I'm concerned. So when you get to that point, then you've really, I would say you're fairly free. And I think that's something people talk about. It's a restrictive diet. Oh, you only eat this narrow band of food. And there's some truth to that. But at the same time, let's look at the modern environment. We have literally tens of thousands of choices of food. Most humans never had, and most humans had whatever grew locally. Here there's some figs and some olives and some lamb and maybe some fish and a few other things you could harvest, but there's not 10,000 products here. And so when we talk about restriction, the problem is not the diet is too restrictive. The problem is the food supply is too varied. There's blue food. There's multicolored striped food. That's, that's not natural. So anyway, think about getting to that stage where you are overcoming that addiction. It takes support, it takes multiple attempts in many cases, but it's worth it in the end. And then once you get there, use this as a tool. Use a carnivore diet as a tool to free yourself of this stuff. And then whatever you end up on, maybe you end up mostly carnivore or keto or paleo or something like that. But you've beaten that, because until you beat that, it's never going to be behind you, and it's going to continue to be problems, and you're going to continue to on and off, regain, lose, and that's unhealthy. So anyway, that's my little thought for the day. Thank you guys for watching, and the folks that have met, who've come up to me here in Greece. Thank you for that little bit of further inspiration to continue doing what I'm doing. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I have, I think, 2 more days left here, and I'm going to enjoy them. And I'm, kind of looking forward to getting home to the U.S. where I can have a nice ribeye steak. I miss those. Having a lot of lamb out here, it's great, but for me, beef is still the best. All right, guys, take care. We'll talk to you soon.